win. Long as you're happy, you're always gonna grin. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. Never gonna lose, never gonna win. Long as you're happy, you're always gonna grin. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. You get out what you put in. Hello, sir. How are you?
Very well, Ashley. I'm just so enamored to be with you, and you've got your clothes on. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, don't give the secrets away. Don't give the secrets away. You can't come on a show and have a better shirt than me. What is that shirt? It looks awesome.
Well, Sean, I don't know if Sean's going to be watching. Sean Thompson. I went to a networking event. I had his cool shirt on with the London Underground map on. The shirt was more popular than I was, which was quite a shame. And then I bought this for the next networking. I couldn't go, so I thought I'd give it an airing now. So just all places around the world, you know.
Absolutely
yeah,
super. You're looking very smart. So, Steve Wright.
Yes.
Tell everybody who you are and what you do, please, sir.
So, Steve Wright, photographer extraordinaire. I've been photographer now for 38 years. Man, boy, and child. Started off as an assistant, then I went on the cruise ships, and since then I've been a freelance photographer. Over the course of my career, I've photographed a wide variety of subjects, but now I'm probably more homing in on people because I like to talk. If you didn't know, I like to talk. I like to get to know people, and actually, that is the key thing with photographers. You need to sort of like bring out people's personality, and the way you do that is just have a little chat with them while you're taking the pictures. They relax, you relax. And that's how you get a better picture of somebody rather than just sitting on a stool, fiddle with the lighting and say, smile, please.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I've got this little trick that I do. My kids absolutely hate me for it. When you're walking down the seafront and people are trying to take a photo of the family and you've got dad taking a photo of his wife and the two kids and he's not in it. And I've got loads of photos of just my wife and the two girls. And I was like, would you like me to take the photo? And I go, oh, thank you. And my kids are going, oh, dad. And what I do is I grab hold of the phone and start off running down the street with it. They all start laughing. I go and take the photo. I've got a really lovely photo of the family enjoying his day by the seaside. So yeah, but you can't really do that, can you?
Well, I could, but I'll be stealing your trick. I mean, there we go.
You sent me some photos because I really want to talk about these photos. You're not bad at photography, are you, sir?
They say if you take enough, you get good at it. Well, I've certainly taken a lot.
Right, so I'm going to do something with the screen a second. So let's see if I can make this work. Yeah, there we go. Ooh. Who on earth is that?
Well, I don't know. But
you've been taking Daniel Craig. You've been taking photos of Daniel Craig.
What can I say? So this picture, when I started off as Daniel Craig lookalike, in case anybody don't know.
Hang on, stop. That's not Daniel Craig.
Sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not.
So there I was thinking you were taking photos of Daniel Craig and you're not. But hang on, are you saying that you're a lookalike?
Believe it or not, even in this shirt, I'm a looky-likey.
That is incredible.
14 years now.
Wow.
Just type in Daniel Craig lookalike, #1 on Google, whatever. And and it's been fun.
I bet you were a little bit disappointed when they wrote him out of the franchise, weren't you?
Yes, but I mean, he's still not out yet. I wouldn't be surprised if he appears in a dream sequence, because it's taken 5 years for them to actually name the new Bond. And have they named him? Well, I don't know.
I'm still waiting for the phone to ring.
Well, maybe on a spin-off, Ashley. Maybe you could do a spin-off. I'm not quite sure which direction it's going to go in, but I'm definitely think you could be in the spin-off.
Yeah, like Basil Bond or Brooke Bond or something. So this is interesting because your primary role, you're behind the camera, but then as a looky-likey, you're very much in front of it.
It was at first it was very strange because as a photographer, when people hire you as a photographer, you turn up with a camera, you hide behind it, you take pictures, it's all fine. But then I got booked to actually be a lookalike, which was weird anyway. As a photographer, I've trained for years to be a photographer. When you are a lookalike, anybody can be a lookalike if they look like that person. You don't have to be a trained actor. So you could have a plumber, you could have a bank manager. There's all different types of people who do look like somebody. And then people expect them to be able to go into a room with 500 people and entertain them just by walking around. So it was initially it was very stressful. But then you find your patter, you get into your groove. And the photography actually really helped. They both helped me either way. With photography, I learned how to pose for the cameras when people were taking pictures of me with other people. And then also, because of being a lookalike in the photography world, as a lookalike, you have to go up and just talk to anybody and be gracious, whatever. And it helped me in the photography as well. Although I did usually talk quite a bit anyway. So it was a weird mixture of the two, but it was worked okay. And now it probably took about 5 years to actually be comfortable with it and not run to the toilet just before I went on stage.
Oh, bless you. But I think that's the thing, though. But as a photographer, you have to talk to people. I've got a friend who's a photographer. I'll give her a name check because she's brilliant, Becky Craven, and she'll just go up to people. Can I just take this photo? And they're like, I'd never do that. I'd run off with the camera and something like that. But I couldn't go. Can you? Yeah, absolutely. And you have to be forceful, don't you? We're going to look at some of your shots in a second, and the photos you sent are absolutely incredible. And it's not really going to work if you listen on a podcast. Sorry, guys. But I want you to describe some of these photos and how you went about taking them, because we all think, because we've got one of these, I'm holding up my mobile phone, that I'm a photographer. And so it'd be great to hear that. Do you know this guy called Jason Jones?
Jason Jones?
He's just asking how it's going. It's going very well, Jason. Thank you for joining us. If you've got any questions about photography or James Bond, then ask this young man, Steve Wright. So how did you get into photography, Steve?
So I want to be a carpenter, and
right. So that's a natural transition.
Obviously. I want to be a carpenter. I went to the college, sat the entrance exam. It was a busy year. My dovetails didn't take off, and I didn't get in. And then I did actually enjoy photography. So then I thought, oh well, let's be a photographer. As anybody, you think, yeah, I'll just be a photographer. But luckily enough, I managed to get on a YTS scheme. I'm guessing you might be young enough to know, or old enough, what a YTS scheme was, Ashley.
Oh, yeah, the youth training scheme. It was a thing that the government were doing at the time to make. It was before. I'm not sure whether it was before or after Modern Apprentices. It was just trying to give it a fresh name, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I did on that with the course of the photographer, or 2 years of photography in Norwich, studio photographer. It was very good. But then I wanted to actually travel the world a bit. So then became a cruise ship photographer, which was excellent. The photography was about that much, but talking to people was that much, because, it's fine for the first picture, going up the gangplank. But then by the time, 3 days in, I've taken 6 pictures of you. I'm not the most happiest person you want to see thrusting a camera in front. So that's when you had to learn how to actually get people to smile, get people to be interested, and that has literally helped me throughout the last 30 years of photographing people. And that's how I get these pictures, which you're about to show, of complete strangers in factories, in offices, whatever. I turn up with a camera, last thing they want to have the picture taken.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually go in there, have a little chat, put them at ease, and then before you know it, they are model stars, And that is the thing about businesses. People think, oh, let's just get some stock shots in to show, some in the reception. No, you've got the best receptionists there. You've got the best people there. You need to show your people to show why your business is so good and is so unique. And normally it's down to actually the people who are delivering the services. So the thing is, trying to capture those people, not looking too cheesy. Yeah, they're going to have a smile because nobody wants to see a grumpy picture. But, an engaging picture is a key, I think.
Perfect. You've stirred up a hornet's nest with this YTS. So Wendy says, "Oh my goodness, YTS."
Wendy was too young. She wasn't born.
Joe remembers YTS. Emma also says it's a blast from the past. I've got a question here from Jason. Okay, for people wanting to start as a hobby without it costing a bomb, where do you start? I bought myself a Canon camera probably this time last year to use for a bit of photography, but more for as a webcam, and it didn't jolly well work. So that was, down the pan. So what sort of like tips have you got for Jason?
You've already brought it up, your phone. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Everybody thinks it's all about how big your camera is, how big your lens is.
Mrs.
You went down that road, I didn't.
You set it up. What was I going to do?
And you just fell into my trap. It's all about composition. That is the key to photography. It's about composition. It's about light. It's about depth of field. It's about how you see pictures. It's about different heights you take them at. Everybody takes 90% of pictures are taken at sort of like 4'3", 4 foot, people just standing up taking a picture. If you get down lower or you get higher, you get a different picture. So the first thing is use your camera or use your mobile phone to see, what your pictures are looking like. Second thing is everybody always looks at the subject they're photographing. They forget to look in the background at that dustbin there, at that sign sticking out of somebody's head, at the pile of dog poo. Look in the background, make sure the background supports your foreground so it works well. Then get a cheap camera, the baseline. And the thing with photography I always find is people go and buy the biggest camera, the most high-end camera they can, with 101 different functions. The trick is to buy a camera which has got 10 functions, let's just say. You use that camera until you reach the point where you say, I wish I could do this, or I wish I could do that. Then you go and buy another camera that does that. So that's what I say. It's all about composition. The other thing is, I always think, look at the pictures that you like, you see in a magazine, you see online, and try and reproduce them. If you see a really cool picture on Instagram, just go and try and copy it, And that's what I've done throughout my career, especially in sort of like the Sunday supplements, whatever. You see a picture there, wow, that's really cool. Then I actually work out how did the photographer take that. I look at, where the shadows are coming in. I look at the camera height. It's all these little things that build up a good picture. That's what I'd say. It's not really how big your camera is, it's what you do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Point of fact is, if I give you my 5-year-old iPhone and you gave me your high-end camera, I bet you'd take the better photo.
The more engaging photo. That is a thing. I mean, quality is one thing, but you can have the sharpest, crispest, whatever. If there's no life in the picture, if it's not actually saying something to you, if it's not getting over what you wanted to portray in that picture, it doesn't matter how fancy it is. It's really the image you're capturing, and does that picture speak to you? And if it does, it doesn't really matter what you capture it on. Yes, with high-end cameras, there's more to do, but you don't need to start there. Start at the base,
No, love that. That is fantastic.
I hope that answers your question there, Jason.
Oh my goodness, Jason's going to love that.
Jason, just connect with me on LinkedIn. We can talk for hours.
Joe wanted to be a photographer. She became a carpenter. No, she didn't. She wants to go into. She did want to go into photography, but didn't work out, so ended up in sales. So, do you do photography as a hobby, Joe? That's the thing.
Well, I don't. I mean, literally, when I go on holiday, it's always on my iPhone because I've been doing it so long. I hate to be brutal about it, but unless people are paying me to, take a picture, I'm not one to sit there and no, I'm not really, because I do enough of it in the daytime. I don't do it as a hobby. I should do.
Fair enough. And another question from Steve. Jason, what's your thoughts on a gimbal? Does that help?
Right. Okay, Jason, you're hitting all the spots. I did have a gimbal because I actually also like to shoot lots of little social media videos. And I thought, that'll be smooth and all this and all that. I'm doing a new series at the moment, little plug here, called Shoot the Shooter, where I actually go out with other photographers and we shoot portraits of different styles. And I was going to use the gimbal to get that nice fluid motion. But actually, when I tried it on there, it lost that impact, because when you are actually hand holding the camera, it's a little bit like a Guy Ritchie movie. Okay, it's a little bit, it's a little bit edgy, a little bit, and it gets a bit more drama in. And also, I think with a gimbal, it does put 1 degree of separation in between you and the camera, because everything is all smooth. For certain shots, it's lovely. A nice slow panning shot is fine. But if you're doing a little talky bit head to head, with a holding the phone just gives you a little bit more, action into it. Obviously, a gimbal is different to a tripod. With a tripod, I normally do use a tripod in certain situations. So hopefully, Jason, has that answered your, thought?
Absolutely. So I've got one of these little gimbal things here that I use just with my mobile phone. It wasn't too expensive. It's a cool little thing. I don't use it for everything for the same reason that you just said. I don't want to make it too professional. But I did a video for I've got this new thing that I'm launching, and I did a video walking through the hotel.
Yeah.
And so that was nice as a bit of B-roll. So
certain things are,
yeah.
But the trouble is, when you see like a recommendation on Amazon or whatever, and you look at it and it's a review of something, and it's all this sort of like nice panning shots of the microphone coming in there, and all, it looks very slick. But then straight away you think, well, that looks very slick. Maybe they're being paid to do that. Maybe it's not a real review. But if somebody got their phone and said, right, here we are, this is the microphone. Yeah, it looks really good, and I really like this. It just feels more real. So that's what, it depends what you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to achieve a high-end polished feel, gimbal all the way. But if you want something that's a bit more real, a bit more, I'd say handheld.
Yeah. So I think the bottom line there is get your phone, go and take some photos and enjoy it. And the more you take, the better you get. Shall we have a look at some of your photos?
Let's. So this is going to be great for the podcast. I'm going to be describing it.
It's really not going to be great for the podcast. We've got a lot of people here live, which is great.
It's going to make people want to tune in to see the video when it comes out, isn't it?
It is on YouTube, so you can always go and watch it. So let's just have a look.
I will pimp this link out. Don't you worry, people. And then you can actually see the shirt, because it is.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Stunning.
Now I'm just hoping that if I can get this. Yeah. Folder over here. This isn't working well for live either. So but it just shows it's live.
Do you want me to
shows it's live? No, okay. There we go. It's fine. There we go.
Oh, okay.
So we are now looking at an RAC van.
Right.
This is a beautiful shot. Let me describe it, and you see if I've got what you're trying to do here. So it's an RAC van at an industrial estate. It's been raining. There's a lovely puddle in front of the van, or by the side of the van. We're looking at the van side on, and the van is reflected in the puddle. And there's an RAC, I don't know what they call them, but he's walking away, patrolman, and he's walking away from the van, and it's on a slow exposure. So he's a little bit. What's that word you use there?
Blurred.
Blurred. Thank you.
Yeah. Motion blur. Blur.
That's a great shot. How did you get a gig with the RAC, man?
Majority of my photography comes through agencies. So there's a few, like one of my clients is Pret. I am working directly with them, but many of my jobs come through third parties or for the creative agency that's working for them. That was the case for this one. We literally had this van for a day, and we knew what type of shots we were going to take. And this one was literally a drive around. We had the van, we drove around, we just saw this location, we literally stopped, set it up. You've already picked out the three things that really work. The reflection, we got the RAC, you can see that reflected into the water as well. I also like the blue and the yellow stripes going up behind the man walking. When you do these walking shots, that is done by slowing down the shutter speed. This is for you, Jason. The camera's on a tripod, not handheld. And you want to be something like a 30th or maybe a 15th of a second to get that blur. If you go too slow, he'll become too blurred. So you sort of like try. I get him to walk 3 or 4 times, and then you time the steps. So his far leg is in the background. So they're not over the two. The arrows there, it's quite a dynamic shot, actually, and the colors, and it's also a bit gritty. So I wanted this picture to be gritty because, RAC coming to rescue and the breakdown, it's not all sunshine and flowers. Sometimes
Sure.
side of a motorway, and you're feeling a bit. So yeah, so this is just showing the heroes that RAC are, and also the AA. There's other breakdown companies as well.
Yeah, there are obviously, but
Obviously,
you
But
you didn't take that shot, not yet, but they will be now.
Definitely.
So how long did that shot take to do? Because
So
this is the other thing we do not see, do we?
okay, yeah. There's two types of photography. Well, there's not. In my word, there's two types of photography. There is the advertising photography, where the client has an idea of what he wants, and he wants this, and he wants somebody standing in front of this building. We want that going down there. You know, there's lots of elements that have been thought out before the picture's actually been taken. So, and then when you come to take the picture, you have to make sure the car's in the right place, the person's there. You know, there's a lot of things, and say like a typical shoot for Vogue magazine. I haven't done Vogue yet. Probably won't. But I mean, those type of pictures are quite a big montage of things all together to make that one shot. And then there's commercial photography, which I do, where these ones are sort of a bit run and gun. We was driving along, we found this location, and with a lot of photographers, in their mind, they know exactly what they want to achieve before they actually took it. If you look back at that picture, the camera's a little bit lower just to add a bit more drama to it. So I set the camera lower. And that picture probably, you know, could have took 20 minutes from turning up, shooting it and going off. If it was a front cover of a magazine, you know, then you could say half a day for one picture. But, you know, nowadays it's more quantity over quality. Well, not over quality, but it's more quantity. People want lots of pictures.
Yeah.
People don't book me just to shoot one image, a standalone hero shot. They want 20 hero shots and 20 supporting shots and another 20 little filler shots. So it depends. It's a style of photography you do. But I think a lot of photographers know in their mind, right, this is what I've got to photograph. This is how I see it. This is what I think we should do. And boom, they're in there straight away.
Absolutely. So you've got another one here. This is from Pret a Manger. You've already mentioned that you've done a bit of work for them. There we go. And so with Pret a Manger, we've got a lady there. She obviously works for Pret a Manger. She's smiling. She's got a clipboard and she's checking the items by the till, different nuts. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Okay.
You're trying again, aren't you? But in the background, we can see the Pret logo. But because you're using a
long lens,
it's a long lens, is it? I was going to say
the aperture is what? Is it big or small?
That is a big aperture. That's a big aperture, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's weird because a big aperture, anybody who doesn't know, the aperture is when you look in a camera lens and you see that little aperture that opens up and closes down. When it's full open, okay, it's a very shallow depth of field. And when it's a really small hole, it's a big depth of field. And in this picture, if I shut the lens down from f5.6 down to f11 or f16, Pret in the background will become more in focus. But this shot, people might think this shot is all staged. It was literally, I was walking around there, I had her, and I said, right, okay, I'm going to put you, this is all planned in an instant. And so the three things I'll talk about this. So in the background's a bit of branding, not over the top, but it's in there. You know, it's Pret. Okay. People are very nervous. You just stand them there saying, just stand there and look happy. Well, what am I going to do? The trick is stick something in their hand. A clipboard, if it's Pret, a cup of coffee, a sandwich, whatever, straight away they feel more comfortable because they've got something to hold on to. Third thing is don't get them look straight towards the camera. Because when you look straight to the camera, it's very unnerving unless you are a model who are very used to it. So get them to look at something else. And also, while I was shooting this, you know, there's all customers around there. I was chatting to her at the same time. So she hasn't got time to get nervous. So I'm going click, click, click. Yeah, how's it all going? Click, click. What are you doing? Click, click. And then I said, oh, quick look towards me. And then there was another shot when she then looks towards the camera and boom. You know, so then you've got two versions. You can use this one as very much as a filler shot, just talking about, you know, staff at Pret or whatever. And then the second one, when she's looking towards the camera, is very much a shot. Do you want to work at Pret? Because, you know, I love it. So, yeah, so Again, this shot, it wasn't premeditated. It wasn't all set up. It was literally just walking around there. If you can look at the background, I made sure that she was standing out nicely against a light background. So she's a little bit silhouetted. So yeah. But a photographer's eye will see this. Going back to Jason's thought, you could copy this on a mobile phone quite easily. And it's all these elements getting cropped in there just to actually make the picture balanced.
Yeah.
Composition. Yep. That's what it's all about. Also on the right-hand side, with that, whether you see the Pret, you could drop a very nice title on there. You know, so I'm leaving space for the designer or the graphic designer to use it. If it was going to be a double-page spread, one thing most people get wrong is they always put the person in the middle of the picture. If this is a double-page spread, the crease would be exactly down the edge of the Pret sign. And there could be a staple in there. So then she would be sitting nicely on the left-hand page. And then on the right-hand page, you could drop a big block of text on there talking about job opportunities at Pret. So all these things go into this photo. Initially, it was just like click, take it, move on to the next one. But a photographer, that is what you're actually hiring. Not so much for the photos, but actually is how can you use these photos effectively? So this photo could be used in many different guises rather than just a headshot.
That is incredible. I just thought it was a photo of a lady at a sandwich shop. That is incredible. Well, yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah. Again, we don't see that because we don't have the photographer's eye. Yeah, that's brilliant. So, right. Okay. You don't know this about me. I used to be a chef. And so whenever I go out, right, for a meal, I'm sort of like, I'm not critical, but I like good food. And there's certain things I'll order. There's certain places I won't go. Are you the same when you flick through a magazine or a book or anything?
No. I mean, I love seeing pictures, which I think, wow, that is great. I wish I did that picture. You know, I suppose with you with meals, you eat something, you say, wow, this is fantastic.
Yeah, I wonder what they put in that, and I'd like to make
a level above. I
Yeah.
really do appreciate good photography. But then also, I mean, two instances. There's one I came back from abroad, flew into Stansted. There was a picture there of somebody, you know, do you want to work at Stansted? The picture they used was it was out of focus. It was badly exposed. I mean, thousands of people are walking past this picture every day. And it literally got my blood boiling because it was just so bad. Probably wasn't the photographer's fault. Well, it was. But, you know, somebody just found this picture and said, oh, that would do. They chuck it in there.
Yeah.
That was one. And the second thing was yesterday, I was at the newsagent. I saw the front cover of Vogue magazine. There's this woman sitting on a black cab. She was wearing what looked like a shopping bag over her. And I just looked at it as I was thinking, fuck. I mean, honestly, really? Is that, you know, and they could have been, the photographer might have been paid 10 grand to do this picture. And I thought, oh. So yeah, it's really good, though, looking at photos if you want to become a photographer and try and work out why you like that photo, why you don't like that photo. Look at the colors, color palettes. It's like with films, you know, all these scenes you see, you know, the director, whatever, they thought of a color palette was going to be in that shot and nothing's going to be standing out. You know, it's all quite, you know, even with done. So yeah.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. No. This has been absolutely incredible. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot now, Steve, because we've come to the end of the show because we finish at 1 o'clock. I know we haven't even started. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to put you on the spot because next week I am not here. So I wasn't going to do a show. Right. How about you stay on afterwards and we'll do a recording that we can drop same time next week. And we can go through some of your other photos.
Wow.
And talk about those because I've learned so much just by looking at the
cherry.
How do you fancy that?
Well, if it means I can sit and chat for another half, yeah, perfect, yeah.
Right. So, guys, you heard it first. Make sure you're back here next week, and we're going to be talking about other photos, and we're also going to see if he's got his Walter PPK. So thank you very much for all your lovely comments. I think you've got 10 minutes to go and find that. Thank you for all your lovely comments. Some great questions there as well. You've got some real fans here. Where is it? Joe Cooper's been following you for 4 years now.
Oh, bless you, Joe.
And that's the thing, right? That's how we get on in businesses. We help people. We give advice and stuff like that. So yeah, you're a real I can't think of the word, but an ambassador to.
Ambassador.
I mean, yeah, so thank you very much indeed.
We didn't have a chance to actually talk about, what you do actually is how to bring, more people to your LinkedIn page, which, I wanted to ask you about. Maybe that's something we can talk about in the next week's show.
Steve, thank you very much indeed. Thank you everybody for watching. And we will be back next week with someone called Steve Wright. Cheerio. You get out what you put in. Never gonna lose, never gonna win.